102.7.
It's time for Wes Strader's Sportsline on ESPN Radio 102.7. Sportsline is a locally produced sports talk show that focuses on high school and WKU, as well as regional athletes who play at the next level. Sportsline was originated by Hall of Fame sportscaster Wes Strader. Now with a new version of Sportsline, here's Garret Browning on ESPN Radio 102.7.
Good afternoon to you sports fans. Welcome to Sportsline.
Who better to bring it in than the Hall of Famer himself, Wes Strader. Thanks for tuning in once again to the Sportsline. Mondays 5 to 6. We're a little shortened today because the Reds are in action against the Milwaukee Brewers. 6:10 first pitch in a 5:40 pregame show. So we'll be getting out at 5:40. Hopefully we'll have Tyler Eaton and Brett Williams live from Holiday World later in the program with their free agent takes while going down a roller coaster. Yes, we got that idea from Levitard. But first, who better to open it up than the Lim, Danny Hartung. I had to bring Danny on because the Rays, they've been pretty bad the last week or two, but they just called up the Louisville pitcher, which I know plenty of people around this area kept up with Louisville baseball the last couple of years. Brendan McKay, who won the Golden Spikes Award for the best college baseball player a couple of years ago. He got his major league debut this weekend. And Danny, what'd you think of it? You're the baseball expert.
What a gem. What a gem. I've been waiting for this kid to come up for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I thought it would come up, a little after the break, but boy, they called him up earlier, and wow, he did not disappoint. This guy has some uber command, and he's got a great fastball. Clocks out at about 95. Keeps it in the strike zone. He has got good swing and miss stuff. And wow, this kid is very impressive to watch. I mean, with him, they bringing him up brought them to the AL East table more so than I thought they would be able to do. Boston's a mess. They're in trouble, and I don't care. Everyone says, they're just not having hit their stride. Boston's in deep trouble. But that series over in London, 50 runs scored, and they were on the losing end of both sides.
Yeah, but, those Londonese, I guess that's what you call them, Londonites, whatever it would be, they were in for a little treat. I guess if they ever go to another baseball game in their life, they'll never see one like they saw that first game, right?
Exactly. 50 runs in the 2 games. What was it, 17-13 the first game, yep. 30 runs, and then attack on 20 more the next game. Yeah, they got to see a lot of dingers, and they saw some very poor pitching, but, these guys are used to watching cricket, which some of those games last 2 or 3 days. So, the first game lasted 4 hours, and I caught a little bit of it, about half of it, but it was a mess, and they're just taking it out of the park. If you're an offensive guy and like to watch home runs, their center field was quite short. I think I might be able to strike one even out of there with a decent pitch. But no, it was fun to watch them because you had a little bit of Yankee, you had a little bit of Boston on both sides, but they sold out both games, and it was fun over there. And they had actually a really good time, is what I heard. They got to meet Mookie got to meet Prince William and Markle, and it looked like they had a good time. But
I saw where Mookie Betts and Meghan Markle are like distant cousins or something, too. Did you see that story?
I did see that stick, and I wasn't sure, but
I read into it,
cool.
And the Betts, they were like next door neighbors. Mookie's great-great-grandfather, and then Meghan Markle's great-great-grandfather was also a Betts, but lived next door.
Very cool.
And whoever did the research said it was very, very uncommon to have the last name Betts. So they're almost positive that they're related somehow. It's just weird. The the Duchess of UK, or however you say it, Danny. I don't know.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. On a sad note today, I saw the steal that Tyler Skaggs, the pitcher, 27-year-old kid, good pitcher from the Los Angeles Angels, was found dead in his hotel room, and they were playing Texas Rangers, so they had to cancel tonight's game. But what a sad thing, and our thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family. But Tyler Skaggs, a good pitcher, 7-7 on the year, just a touch above 4 ERA, and pretty decent pitcher, but good left-hander. But that was a sad thing I saw today. But it's just crazy stuff going on all the time. But they didn't give cause of death or anything like that. But
yeah, no further details at the time.
27 years old. That's just way too soon. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll be sure to give out further details if they appear on social media during the show. And, of course, the Cincinnati Reds broadcast later. I'm sure Marty and company will keep the fans up to date. Just, it's things like that sometimes that you get reminded that it's just a sport. And, there's a lot more important things than just winning baseball games or winning basketball games.
You're darn right, buddy. And that's just, that's the thing, you just never know. And, but, boy, the Reds are playing some baseball. Holy smokes.
Yeah,
man.
I had to get to that too. If you're just tuning in, that's Danny the Limb Hartung on the phone line. He is our MLB expert and also is over at First Step Prosthetics and Orthotics on the bypass for all your brace needs, getting ready for fall sports, whatever it may be. But back to the Reds, you mentioned it. I love Yasiel Puig, man. He could hit like 110, and I don't care. I want him on my team.
You know what? He's a clubhouse wonder. He really is. Like you said, he could bat 150, but you know what? He pumps people up. But I tell you, this Nick Stenzel guy, he should be. Did he make the All-Star game? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. I'll have to go to the web.
But boy, this guy is raking, dude. He is just raking the ball, and they're playing some pretty good baseball, and their pitching's coming around. And Iglesias had a wonderful save last night, and it was a good 6-out save, and it's one and around. I heard a stat today, G, that this as of yesterday, which is the 30th of June, in the month of June, there was a record set for most home runs in 1 month's time, and it was 1,152 home runs in the major leagues last month alone. That is insane.
It is.
And they're coming out with a deal with the new baseball and how juiced they are, and they even said they are juiced. So, I mean, they're tightly wound. The coefficient drag, and I'm not going to get into the old, the metrics of the whole thing, but the
when you go science,
low.
You lose me, Danny. No science.
Yeah, the laces are low on the ball, so the coefficient drag, the balls are flying out of these parks, and it is insane how crazy it is. But 1,152 home runs were hit in the month of June, and it was a record only set last June by 7 home runs. So
I have to tell you what our friend from the Red Legs Radio Report, glad he's listening in. Thank you, Jason Harbison. He told me.
Hey, Jace, what's going on, buddy?
He told me, let me know when the Tampa Trial team starts in Montreal and Tampa Bay. Go Reds.
You mean the X-rays?
Yeah, the X. That actually kind of has a funny ring to it. I almost don't hate it.
You know what? That'll never happen. For one thing,
really,
Major League the Major League Baseball won't let that go. I mean that especially with the new
They were in talks to build a new stadium at one time down in St. Pete. I don't know if they ever got approval from the city or not, but anybody who knows has kept up with it at all.
A new team. I mean, I think they supported him well when they were, the Expos, but you can't do that and uproot people's families for half the year because the weather's nicer back in August.
I always wondered, when you get to the playoffs, what do you do? Is it only one home stadium, or do you both get playoff games?
You play the wild card game, or if they, because they're going to chase the Yankees all year long, and I really don't think Boston's going to be relevant. To tell you the truth, they're just not playing good baseball. But say they make a wild card berth. What do? You're going to play that in, say down the line. I'm not saying this year, but What are you going to play? One game there in Montreal,
wherever
and
the attendance percentage was better.
St. Pete to play the 2 out of 3. I mean, that screws up everything. That's crazy. But collective bargaining agreement. The players, for one thing, will vote that out completely. But that's too bad too. But if they're going to give Montreal a team, give them a team. Don't give them Tampa Bay, but give them an extension team. So.
Who else in the MLB is catching your radar, Mr. Danny Hartung?
Texas is actually playing really good baseball. They pulled within 4.5 of Houston, Houston's hit it kind of a lull lately, but they're pretty dang good. But right now, my radar is now the Dodgers and the Yankees for the World Series right now.
The Yankees.
And I thought Houston was going to be, getting everyone's way. And they still might because they have such a good core of pitching staff. Cole's pitching great. Verlander's pitching great. They're all, they're great staff there. But look at the Washington Nationals. They're coming back a little bit. I don't know if they're going to be able to catch the Braves, but they're starting to get relevant. They're now 2 games above 500, where they were 13 behind at the beginning of June. So they went 20 and 10 the last 30 games. So it's been crazy. It's been a wild baseball season already.
I like that World Series prediction. The Dodgers, I mean, they really don't look like they have a lot of weaknesses at all. But the Yankees, if they did have one weakness, it would be their starting pitching, right?
Right. Severino, they're not talking about coming back maybe not till August. But I suspect they're going to pick somebody up before the deadline, which is July 31st. And I'm thinking probably Stroman from Toronto, maybe Bumgarner, but Bumgarner's the Southern guy. I expect more of Atlanta maybe picking Bumgarner up, but there's a lot of good ones. Robbie Ray's another one on my radar that they could go to the Yankees, but they're going to pick somebody up because they definitely need a starter. Tanaka is not going to be able to hold them up in the end, and neither can CeCe for the rest of the year, but they're going to pick somebody up because Severino is not coming off the shelf probably till the end of July. They first thought it was going to be right after the break, but still more setbacks. But that's like our Glasgow kid down in Tampa. Mm-hmm. He's got another setback with a little forearm tightness after throwing off a mound. They're not looking at him till the end of July now. But I like that. I really do love that pitching squad down there. So.
Yeah, and there's absolutely zero reason try and rush Glasnow back at this point either.
Heck no. We got Charlie Morton doing good, and and McKay coming up. He needs to throw the bat a little bit, and that's fine. They're trying to make him a good tool player, but I think he'll be fine. His pitching's fabulous, though.
We'll switch gears on Danny just a little bit. Free agency open last night for the NBA. I just got confirmation Brett Williams and Tyler Eaton do have working phones, so I'll get them on from Holiday World. I don't know if we can do the roller coaster thing because they don't want to break their phone, Danny, and I guess I don't think ESPN Radio is going to cover that if you drop your phone off a roller coaster trying to do an interview, right?
Right. Clear me up. Did Durant sign with the Nets?
Yes, Kevin Durant. Well, and I don't think these signings are going to be official until July 6th, but he has signed with the Brooklyn Nets, as did Kyrie Irving. And the surprise out of this deal was that Kyrie and Kevin Durant both did not take as much money as they could have taken, and it allowed DeAndre Jordan to join them.
Oh, mercy.
Yeah, so
my word.
DeAndre Jordan, and they got him on a deal too. It was
I like that kid.
Oh yeah, 4 years, like $10 million a year for DeAndre Jordan, which honestly, for a center of his caliber, is an absolute steal.
That's cheap.
The other shockers so far, Danny, we'll just go through the big names. Kawhi, yet to announce. I got my Woj notifications on, ready for the Woj bomb. Jimmy Butler, he's headed to the Miami Heat in a sign-and trade. I think they're still trying to work out the logistics on that. Goran Dragic could be moving from Miami. And then the other big one was my guy, Kentucky-bred D'Angelo Russell. It was a sign-and trade from the Nets to the Golden State Warriors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which it's going to be interesting, the dynamic there, because Klay Thompson, obviously, with his torn ACL, is going to be out for a while. But, I mean,
didn't Thompson just sign it? It was with Golden State, correct?
Yep, he just signed his Supermax deal. The Supermax is when you stay with a team long enough that you can get them to pay you more money. They can go over the cap to pay you, and that's basically what they did. I think it was like 5 years, $150 million, something along that.
How about my old team? What has the Celtics done, buddy?
The Celtics also made some big moves. I kind of forgot to write that one down on my sheet because it was one of the first ones that got announced. But Kemba Walker is going to be Boston.
Kemba Walker.
And Al Horford's going to move on. He's headed to Philly, which that's pretty dangerous. Philly's lineup is pretty scary now. They picked up Josh Richardson from Miami as well, who was a really nice shooting guard. But Boston.
They got the kid out of Tennessee as well. The draft.
Grant Williams. Yeah, I actually saw their summer league roster today, and fans around this area will know another name on that roster. It's John Elmore, who is actually the all-time leading scorer in Conference USA for Marshall, WKU's rival in basketball. So I guess I can kind of cheer for him now since he's out of the Marshall green. It's at least like a different shade of green, I guess.
Well, we are Marshall. No, that's I've always loved the Celtics, since I was a kid, because I was a big Larry Bird guy and Kevin McHale and everything else. But that Grant Williams kid out of UT, they kind of comparing his role as to like a Kevin McHale role, and they said he should do well there. But time will tell.
One more name that was a pretty big get in the second round was the Purdue point guard. You might remember him from the NCAA tournament game against Tennessee, where he was dropping 3 after 3, Carson Edwards. I think he shot like 30 made threes in the NCAA tournament, and he didn't even make the Final Four.
Yeah, that's not good, but that's awesome. Those are awesome marks, and I don't want to get into it. I've always got bounced from a Purdue team over the years and years and years, taking them in my pools, but neither here nor there. But that's just sour grapes. But yeah, that's like I said. And the All-Star break's coming up soon. We're going to have the Home Run Derby. Vlad Guerrero Jr. is in it now. Pete Alonso from the Mets is in it. But they upped the money this year. So the winner's going to get $1 million.
Ooh.
So it's going to, they used to be $500,000 or something for the winner, but
That's
they upped
nothing.
it to $1 million or $2 million or something. It was a crazy amount, but these kids want to go after it because they're all getting paid minimum right now.
I mean, to be honest, you don't want to embarrass yourself on national TV in the Home Run Derby anyways, right? I guess it's like it's trying to get bigger names into the Home Run Derby, if anything else, right?
Dude, if I could hit the dingers they do, I'd get on every day.
That's Danny the Limb Hartung. If you want to tune in and hear more for his MLB expertise, you can tomorrow with the Sports Web. He's on every week with me and Brian Webb. First Step Prosthetics and Orthotics on the bypass. Danny, dude, thanks for filling me in because Tyler and company, they were busy on a roller coaster. But now they're ready, so I really appreciate you helping me out, and you always give the good info.
Gee, my pleasure, brother. I'll see you tomorrow.
That is Danny the Limb Hartung. I don't say it quite as well as Brian Webb, so tune in tomorrow at 5 for his perfect pronunciation. Coming up next, from Holiday World, Brett Williams and Tyler Eaton. We'll get maybe a little Hot Rods update from Brett. We'll get free agency news from what they think. Brett's also a big NHL guy, so we'll have to talk to him about this crazy NHL postseason and offseason I've seen so far. That and much, much more here on the Sportsline, ESPN Radio.
This is a Morgan & Morgan consumer message.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. You know what's music to the insurance company's ears? Hearing that someone who was injured in a crash did not hire a lawyer, because that means the insurance company won't have to pay them what they deserve. Their own research shows that people who hire a lawyer recover 3 times more. What's music to my ears? Hearing that we helped a client recover full value for their case. If you've been injured, dial pound law on your cell, and you could recover 3 times more. There's only one Morgan & Morgan. Offices, Bowling Green.
Culver's wouldn't be what it is today without the family farms that grow and produce the wholesome, delicious food we so proudly serve. From the cattle ranches of the Great Plains to the dairy farms of Wisconsin and south to Georgia's chicken country, it's important to us to make sure farm families across the nation clearly see how Culver's remains committed to sourcing the finest ingredients America's growers have to offer and how thankful we are for their hard work and dedication. Culver's, Scottsville Road in front of Greenwood High. Welcome to Delicious.
Mohawk Outdoors is a 501c3 organization. Our mission is to promote the healing of combat veterans suffering from their wounds of war by incorporating the great outdoors. We've personally seen how these efforts can leave a positive impact on veteran lives, so we strive to provide similar opportunities for others who may benefit. The self-inflicted loss of our battle buddies and the current suicide rate of those that served is unacceptable. We need your help to better assist those who have protected this great country. Like us on Facebook or visit mohawkoutdoors.com for more information.
Sportsline, Mondays 5 to 6. Garret Browning here. This is your Sports Center update. Short show today, 5:40 pregame show for the Cincinnati Reds and the Milwaukee Brewers from Great American Ballpark. So first pitch is at 6:10. Marty, Jeff Brantley, Jim Day, who knows? They're always switching it around on me, but one of them's going to be up in the booth. And let's see what else I had written. Oh, free agent news. Nothing new on Kawhi Leonard and Adrian Wojnarowski. Did he have a tweet? Nope, that was just Brett Williams retweeting me. Oh, wait, he did. The completion of a 4-team trade that secures Jimmy Butler to the Miami Heat. 4 years, $142 million. So there's some breaking news for you guys. And now, live from Holiday World, as I was told to do the Jungle Racing Champs, reigning Jungle Racing Champs, it is Gasbag Tyler Eaton of ESPN Radio and voice of the Lady Tops, Hot Rods MC, Brett Williams on speakerphone, both of the guys. Thanks for coming on, guys.
We are no longer broadcasters. We are jungle racers only. Yeah, we enjoy what we've done in Bowling Green, but we're setting something up new here up in Santa Claus. I'm preparing to sign a Supermax.
I'm wondering what the Santa Claus budget is like, because Holiday World is booming, but I don't know about the rest of Santa Claus, Indiana.
Well, at some point, Santa's going to bring in his whole arsenal of what he's got from the North Pole, because I've heard apparently that's where he spends his summers, is up in these parts. So,
that would make sense, I guess. That would make sense. I've seen the Reindeer Lodge. I've seen it all. I got to stay at the Reindeer Lodge once time, but that's enough of a free plug for Holiday World. As of right now, we'll probably get into a little bit more later.
Yes. Okay.
We'll get the free agent news out of the way for now. I know you guys keep up with it on Twitter, so I'm not going to run through the list. One at a time. Who do you think was the biggest shock or the biggest move? You can pick who starts.
Well, Garrett, you know I love my Sixers, and I was originally very, very, very disappointed, because you also know how little I believe Mike Scott is an NBA player. He has the basketball skills of someone that should be the regional manager of a paper company. But then we signed Al Horford, and we secured Tobias Harris. The Jimmy Butler deal falls through. It just came out. He declined the Supermax, whatever. He was going to destroy our team anyways. And we get Josh Richardson for him. So right now, I might be a little biased, but I think my Sixers are the favorites in the East. I mean, obviously the Nets with KD, Kyrie Irving, whatever. KD probably won't play for a year. Kyrie Irving just destroyed the Celtics, had a ton of talent around him, did absolutely nothing. So unless Kawhi signs with L.A., which I'm sure we'll talk about, pretty much locks up a championship for the Lakers, Philly right now, for me, looks really, really good as a possible championship team, and I'm thrilled with what they did in free agency.
Yeah, we've been talking, two of us here, for the last couple of hours just about the way the East is wide open. I mean, even if Kawhi goes back to the Raptors, and at that point I guess you have to put them as the favorites again in that conference, it's still wide open. Not that I expect that to happen, but just saying, I do find it interesting, though, that KD ended up deciding to go the Brooklyn route. Because, quite honestly, when I started seeing everything come out that KD and Kawhi's camps were talking, that seemed to me to be a pretty interesting combo, even if they went to the Clippers, because now that would have made for something. I tell you, talk about must-watch TV, if you had KD and Kawhi playing together for the Clippers against LeBron and AD for the Lakers, that would have been something. Instead, he decides to go the Brooklyn route and play with Kyrie, who kind of proved himself to be a bit tough to play with, let's be honest, this past year. So we'll see if that ends up working out for Brooklyn. It might not, and I know that would make a lot of Knicks fans happy if it didn't. But now it opens the door for the Lakers to become that automatic champion, if you will, if Kawhi does pull that trigger.
And we'll backtrack to the Warriors. They missed out on KD. They offered him, of course, as much money as possible, and he takes the free agent route. He was kind of pushed out by a bunch of fans as well, so you can't really blame the Warriors organization a bunch, including Draymond. I mean, Draymond kind of pushed him out as well. But how about them trading for D'Angelo Russell? Hey, it's my guy. It's my guy. I got to do it.
I wanted to ask you, are you a Warriors fan now?
Oh, absolutely. Warriors.
Because either way, you're a bandwagon. If you're still a Nets fan, you're a total bandwagon. But now you're a Warriors fan, which makes you even more of a bandwagon.
But see, this is how I work, Tyler. I never pick a team when it's winning championships. I pick a team when it's going to lose a championship. And I usually end up heartbroken because there's no way D'Angelo and Steph Curry are going to win a championship next year. But my question to you is, he's been rumored to be traded again. They have to wait until, I believe, like January, December. It's a couple of months before they can trade his contract again. But do you think he could be a long-term Warrior, or is he just a short-term fix while Klay Thompson is injured?
I love the fit. I absolutely love the fit because we all know how good Steph is off the ball. And really the only guy that he's had to throw him the ball is Draymond Green. So you bring in another guy in D'Angelo Russell who, coming out of college, the number one thing with him was his playmaking. Obviously on a Brooklyn team where he really didn't have much around him in terms of scoring, he was allowed to do more in terms of just putting the ball in the basket. But it's a really low-pressure situation for him. I feel like there's not much on his shoulders. There aren't really many expectations. I haven't heard many people really hyping up this Warrior squad. I know it's exciting to see D'Angelo Russell get this opportunity, but I love it, especially if Klay comes back and you just slide him over to the three. Nobody's going to outshoot that backcourt if they're fully healthy. I think long-term it could work out kind of like a C.J. McCollum, Damian Lillard type thing times 5 because Steph Curry is just ridiculous. If he can play off the ball, you're looking at a guy that quite possibly could easily average over 30 points a game with Klay out.
Yeah, and even if Klay is out for a long period of time, it's still in going off your point here, Tyler, I mean, the Warriors are not going to drop off but so much. I mean, we saw, again, I mean, they obviously won a championship before KD. They almost beat Toronto without KD. It ended up just being a little bit too much damage that they had to deal with. But this is a champion team. Iguodala is going to be another loss as well. But Russell just keeps the Warriors relevant. There's no other way to put it.
And I think there are two big names still out there. One of them is a big name because of kind of what he's done in the past, and if he ever can get healthy, that's DeMarcus Cousins. But obviously the biggest name, Kawhi Leonard, and it's no shock. We have no idea what he's going to do. It's a day past the deadline, and people are still saying L.A., Toronto, the Clippers, who knows? What do you guys know? What do you guys think?
Well, I'll sum up what me and Brett have talked about today. We've talked about the possibility of him going to the Lakers and the reason why we think it probably will end up happening, because obviously he doesn't want to be the guy. If he wanted to be the guy, and even if he was neutral to being the guy, he would have already re-signed with Toronto. But the fact that he refuses to do that at this point, you've got to assume he's not going back, at least I am. If he goes to the Lakers, even though LeBron will probably defer on the court to allow Kawhi to be the guy, that team is going to be looked at as LeBron. So from a media standpoint, Kawhi isn't going to be the top dog on that team. Heck, he might be seen as the third wheel with LeBron and Anthony Davis there, but realistically on the court, he might be the best basketball player in the world right now. So I think for him, just based on what little we know about him and the fact that he doesn't want that spotlight, it sounds really weird to say if he goes to Los Angeles, he's not going to get it. But if he's a Laker, you sit down in a media room, the first two people are going to want to talk to are LeBron and Anthony Davis. Kawhi can just chill in the locker room. He doesn't have to answer for anything. It's going to be looked at as LeBron's team. And after that, probably Anthony Davis.
Right, that's what you're not going to get if you're Kawhi and you go to the Clippers. I mean, that had been discussed all year long. Obviously, a lot of people thought that it was a done deal, but, when he was getting rest in Toronto, and then some people, and myself included, questioned, well, why is Toronto resting him just so we can, get ready to go play for the Clippers next year? So, but at that point, we hadn't heard anything about the Clippers turning into a mini super team and anybody else being involved in that deal. So I suppose on some level, the Clippers, who are a young team who showed some promise this year, they could contend to some extent, certainly if Kawhi comes in there. So maybe that's something worth considering, but just seems the way that things have gone lately. Again, if you're Kawhi, you just came off a ring, you go to Southern California, if you join with the Lakers, all of a sudden you're almost guaranteeing yourself several more rings.
If you're just joining us, it's the Sportsline, Mondays 5 to 6. We're out at 5:40 today. Brett Williams, Hot Rods MC, Lady Topper voice here on ESPN Radio, and Gasbag Tyler Eaton joining us from Holiday World. Guys, I told him that we couldn't do the roller coaster thing because I think
it's a really good thing we didn't. It would have got us kicked off the air immediately. Oh, yeah. As soon as we start moving, Brett starts screaming.
Well, it would not have made for good quality audio, although I don't understand. Some of the things that I say on these rides don't make any sense. We were on Wildebeest, one of their water slides here, and I have no idea why, but I just started shouting random soda names.
Yes.
Hey, whatever gets you through the ride.
Garrett, the problem is we get to a point where water crashes down, and right before that happens, he yells, "Water," and then I hear this pause, and then he goes, "In my mouth." So obviously it's trying to bite us. Right?
He wasn't ready for the log drop, clearly. From Holiday World, Brett Williams and Tyler Eaton, we got just a couple of minutes left, so we'll try and wrap things up. Guys, before we wrap it up, I got to play you this clip from our guy, Stephen A. Smith. As Knicks fans have had basically a funeral for the past months, dating back to draft lottery night, you name it. And this just gave me cold chills. What a performance.
It's pretty difficult to put into words how disgusted I am, how depressed I am about the New York Knicks. I mean, you lose Kevin Durant, you lose Kyrie Irving. That's bad. You lose them to the Brooklyn Nets. 20 minutes away. Not 20 miles, 20 minutes away. And that's only because you got to take into account traffic. It's actually quicker. And then you reminisce and you're reminded that they let go of Kristaps Porzingis. Now, if you listen to the Knicks, they'll say, we moved Kristaps Porzingis because Kristaps came into our office, told us he wanted out. Okay? You listen to other folks, they talk about he didn't necessarily want out. He just wanted to meet with Dolan. Dolan has nothing to do with basketball operations. It's really about Steve Mills and those guys. Whatever the damn story is. Do you know why Kristaps Porzingis was called the Unicorn?
Why
Kevin
Stephen A?
Durant gave him that nickname. That's who gave him that nickname. Which means that Kevin Durant liked him. Which means that he was an attractive commodity to Kevin Durant. Which means that if you had Kristaps Porzingis, you might have improved your chances of having Kevin Durant. So it's bad enough that yesterday happened, but you are forced to reflect upon the times.
You got to wait for the end.
The weeks and the months leading up to the decision that happened yesterday. And then when you pull it all together, you realize that the New York Knicks, once again, got in their own damn way.
Oh, man, that is just...
I don't buy it one bit, Garrett.
Oh, my God, it's so brilliant, man. He is just amazing.
Here's the problem with it, though. The problem with it is you have to sit back and ask the question, who was the person that in the very beginning started the talk and started the hope that Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving were going to New York? Who was that person?
It was Stephen A.
He started it.
But I'll also say that Stephen A. doesn't work for the Knicks front office.
I know, and he doesn't. That's the problem. His sources are wrong always. They have yet to be right. They had Kevin Durant linked to like 15 different teams this year, and none of them were Brooklyn until the very end.
The only sources you can listen to are Woj and Shams.
Oh, Woj, 100%. Oh, yeah. Don't give me Shams. Just give me Woj.
But the New York Knicks, man, they thought they were getting Kyrie and all these guys, and now they're getting Julius Randle and
Less athletic Zion, okay?
And Bobby Portis. Did they realize that they just signed the same player twice?
Bobby Portis has really big eyes, okay? That could be intimidating.
I saw something else where Frank Nicolatina is now the longest tenured Knick. Can somebody try and explain how the Brooklyn Nets can blow everything up with that trade to the Celtics, and the Knicks can try and blow everything up for the last 10 years and still not get it right?
Oh, it's pretty simple. James Dolan. Brett can relate. He's a Redskins fan. Yep.
James Dolan, Dan Snyder, do the same cloth. There's no lie.
Well, hey, your Redskins got a little hope. Dwayne Haskins, right? That's my Ohio State guy.
I'm hopeful if Haskins is the real deal, and if he continues to keep that chip on his shoulder about getting denied access by his childhood team. He grew up a Giants fan. He's got a bone to pick with them, and that might help out. But I'll believe that Haskins is the answer and that Daniel Jones is a bust when I see it. I've just unfortunately been trained to not expect the best.
We got about 5 minutes here, so real quick, I'm going to play this deleted tweet thing, and I'll let you guys think about it while I get mine, all right?
From freezing cold takes to that 1 a.m. mistake, it's deleted tweets.
Oh, NBA free agency, it's the best soap opera there is. And my guy, D'Angelo Russell, is no longer on a worthless team. The Lakers, the crappy Lakers, no. The Nets getting eliminated in the first or second, no. He is with a champion Golden State Warriors squad, and not only is he going to get All-Star this season for the Golden State Warriors, he's going to average 30 points a game. Him and Steph are going to average 60 together, and they're going to be co-MVPs. That is my deleted tweet. Here, hold on. Tyler, I got a soundbite for you. You don't even have to say it.
Tyler Higbee.
I messed it up. That was my Tyler Higbee thing. I labeled it "That's Cute," so I thought it was just going to be your "That's Cute" at the very end.
But that's all I've got to say. Because I did say Steph would average 30. And honestly, D'Lo could average 22 or 23. But to say they're going to win co-MVPs, that would require them to win more games than most teams, Garrett.
That's a fair point. But, hey, it's the offseason. You can say whatever the hell you want.
Oh, 100%. Kevin Durant to the Knicks next year.
All right. What do you guys got for your deleted tweets?
Are you ready, Brett, or do you want me to go ahead? Because I'm hot and ready.
Well, you're feeling ready.
Philly's winning the East. That's it. Plain and simple. Kawhi's not going back to Toronto. Milwaukee's just the same team, although they just got Wesley Matthews, which is huge. Philly's going to figure it all out. Al Horford is the perfect player. Perfect complement for Joel Embiid. Josh Richardson is going to step it up. Going to be an all-defensive team performer. Tobias Harris is going to find a shot. I don't know where it went, but he'll find it somewhere. And Ben Simmons is going to hit like 5 threes this year. Career season for him. And Joel Embiid probably going to average like 30, 15, 4 blocks, 3 steals. He'll probably shoot 55% from 3, and we'll walk right into the finals just to get swept by the Lakers.
I'm glad you upped the ante at the end there. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Well, given the fact that I assume Kawhi Leonard's going to become a Laker and the whole NBA season is basically going to be pointless, I'm going to give you something potentially interesting to watch out further down the way. For 2 teams to look out for this year that nobody's talking about, number one, the Orlando Magic. A couple of interesting moves that they did. They also seem to have kind of a refurbished energy.
Markelle Fultz is a future star.
That could be another deleted tweet. We'll see.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I kind of like them taking another step because why not? As for out west, the New Orleans Pelicans. I mean, look, Zion is going to be must-watch TV. They got a lot of interesting pieces. I hope LeVar Ball is not covered any further because obviously that's gotten a bit much, and he's done some things he probably shouldn't have done. But we'll see if Lonzo, maybe not under the lights of L.A., can actually start putting some things together. And maybe a lot of those guys, J.J. Redick is going to the Pelicans too. Yep. Who knows? Maybe that becomes a very interesting thing.
Can you imagine a future, maybe like in 2 or 3 years, because this year that lineup would get destroyed, but a small ball lineup for the Pelicans with, I mean, shoot, you could start Zion at center. He's 6'7" and like 230 pounds and jumps out of the building. Brandon Ingram, Lonzo, and J.J. Redick. That's a nice little speedy Andrew Holiday if he keeps. Yeah, thank you.
They're going to have an elite defensive team, especially if Jackson Hayes develops like they want him to, and Zion can get a bit of a jumper on him, play the 4. He's not a 3. But defensively, they're going to be really, really good in a few years. Lonzo is a really, really good defender. I think they're going to be pretty good. I mean, they've got a much better future than the Utah Jazz, who people are hyping up as a championship contender just to get swept out of the second round. But I won't go off on that.
We got a minute left here, guys, so I really appreciate you joining me. And, Brett, real quick, I got to ask you, the Hot Rods gig, how are the Hot Rods doing, and are you ready for Lady Topper basketball again?
Oh, I'm always ready for Lady Toppers basketball. It's going to be a lot of fun next year. But the Hot Rods doing well right now. Just missed out on the playoffs in the first half by a couple of games that they've surged out of the gate. I did not see what they did in Lansing yesterday, but they have come out 7-2, had won 5 in a row. So that's a interesting team to watch for, and obviously a lot of good stuff happening at Bowling Green Ballpark.
Thanks to both of you guys, and go enjoy those soft drinks, all right?
We're going to go to our jungle racing crowns,
Absolutely.
Okay? So we'll talk to you after that. We may come back.
I'll cut it on that note. Thanks, guys. Tyler Eaton and Brett Williams joining us. And that's the Cincinnati Reds cutting me off. So the Sportsline, Mondays 5 to 6. Thanks for listening. 5:40 today. Reds versus Milwaukee.